I recently finished my first super sprint triathlon at the CLE Rock Roll Run. So if triathlon is something that you've been interested in but you're nervous about it, I've got some tips that will make your race day more stress-free. Or if you've got experience in triathlon but you've been wondering what it would be like to do one in Cleveland, then stick around, I've got you covered. A little bit about me. I would consider myself a pretty active person, and I especially enjoy hiking and weight training. But I am no endurance athlete, and running has never been my friend. I only recently became interested in triathlon when I joined a gym with a lap pool and wanted to incorporate swimming into my workout routine. The first time I went swimming, I was pretty surprised with how quickly I got tired. So I hopped on YouTube to look up some tips on breathing and swimming more efficiently, and one of the very first videos that I watched just happened to have a little bit of B-roll of somebody doing a triathlon, and it immediately caught my eye. And I was like, that looks like fun. So I searched if there were any triathlons in Cleveland, and sure enough, the CLE Rock Roll Run was only 4 months away. So I signed up immediately. There were 3 distances to choose from: the super sprint, the sprint, and the Olympic. I went with the super sprint. For it being my first triathlon, I wanted to set myself up for success. My thought process was that if it was hard enough for me to do a 5K by itself, I really couldn't imagine being able to do it after a swim and a bike ride. I figured if this year goes well, I can come back next year and do a longer distance next time. So registration was complete and my goals were simple. I wanted to finish the race and I wanted to have fun doing it. There were 4 key things I did to prepare for the race that made my day go a lot smoother. I started by practicing each event separately, but I quickly got my first brick workout in. Maybe running is no problem for you, but have you ever tried running right after a bike ride? Your legs are going to feel completely different, and you don't want race day to be the first time that you're discovering this. Besides getting physically prepared for the race, there were also things I did to make myself feel more prepared mentally. If you're the type of person who can just show up on race day and wing it, then great, but that's not how I operate. I read this book by Meredith Atwood, I watched my fair share of GTN videos, I learned how to change a flat tire, and I also followed CLE on Instagram and YouTube. I watched the videos they posted where they went over rules and explained what the courses would be like. You really want to make sure you know your routes, because you're sharing the course with people who are doing different distances, and if you don't know where you're supposed to be, you can accidentally go further than you need to, or accidentally take a shortcut that you'd have to make up for later. So be a good student and absorb whatever information there is so that on race day, you can focus on your performance and not worry about getting lost. I would recommend getting your tri-suit as early in advance as you can so that you can practice in it and get comfortable in it. I went with this 2-piece suit from Zoot and I was really happy with it. Same goes for your socks, shoes, sunglasses, hat, anything you're wearing. Start breaking it in and knowing what you're going to need for transition. Speaking of gear, if you're in the Cleveland area and you need help with anything bike related, they were super nice and helpful at Eddie's Bike Shop in North Olmsted. And if you need new running shoes, I also had a really great experience at Second Soul in Lakewood. Perhaps the most helpful thing I did to ease my mind was go to Edgewater a couple weeks before the race and practice there. What we're doing today is we are heading down to Edgewater Park to get a practice swim in. The water temperature is somewhere around 74 degrees. The level of E. coli in the water should be safe. I'm going to practice the swim, see how that feels. Then I'm going to practice the run. We can't practice the bike today because the shoreway is not closed down, so my main concern is just getting in the water and seeing how it feels, since they say that swimming in open water is just completely different from swimming laps in the pool. So that's today's main goal, and also we're just on a family field trip because we got Noli with us, and we're going to the beach. So today should be fun. Oh, this is beautiful. I'm not exactly sure which buoy I'm supposed to be swimming out to, but I know I'm going 250 meters, so I'm just gonna keep checking my watch. Once I get to 125 meters, I'll turn around. This is gonna be my first time swimming in this lake, so that will be interesting, but it's looking very inviting right now. One thing specifically I think people might be nervous about is the open water swim, especially swimming in Lake Erie. But I'm here to tell you that the beach at Edgewater was really nice in my opinion. You can check the Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer District website for water temperature and quality before you go swim. And I can't speak for the Olympic or sprint distance races, but there was no one swimming over me, and I never felt overwhelmed in the water. If this is something you're worried about, you can stay off to the side or line up near the back of the pack. It wasn't a massive crowd of people running into the water all at once. They also had a huge water safety team. There were people on kayaks and paddleboards right on the course, so if you ever felt like you might need help at all, you just have to wave your arms and someone would be right there. Packet pickup the day before the race is yet another opportunity for you to go get acquainted with the courses. You could drop your bike off so that you don't have to worry about it in the morning, and they also had the official buoys in place so that you could do a practice swim if you wanted to. When race day finally arrived, the weather was perfect, the atmosphere was great, and all I had to do was make it to the finish line. Billy Morris kicked things off with the national anthem, and then it was off to the races.
For our national anthem, it's Billy Morris! For sprint distance racers, I need you in line.
All right, see ya. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, I'll be over here.
All right, cool. We're done with that then.
Did it.
We did it.
How was it?
Exhilarating to say the least.
Going over this tonight.
Did it.
At the finish, there was live music, food trucks, and a BrewDog beer garden. You could tell that the people who organized this event really care about what they do, and they wanted us to have the safest and best time possible. I would absolutely recommend going for it if this event was something you've been considering. Even if you decide triathlon isn't for you, having something to train for and focus on is amazing for your mental health. So get out there and try that thing that you've been putting off. You won't regret it.
Shitter's full.